What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet moveset guide video. Today we are going to be talking about Garchomp because Garchomp is back in a big way, and I don't think Garchomp necessarily ever left per se. I think it was still prevalent on certain teams. We saw it in a couple of regionals in Series 2, but it wasn't as big as it was in Series 1, mainly because Great Tusk was so predominant. But now things are kind of shifting, and I want to talk about why Garchomp is an excellent alternative to Great Tusk in particular this series. So if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subbed for more videos like this in the future, but let's get into it. So Garchomp is a Pokemon that I've actually featured pretty frequently here recently because it's a really good Pokemon. We saw actually a couple people use it at Fort Wayne regionals. Joe UX9 was using it, as well as Wolf Glick, and it's just a really good alternative to Great Tusk, like I mentioned. It has a fantastic speed tier, great attack stat, and also pretty good bulk all around, so it's just a really solid Pokemon. And it does, you know, basically what Great Tusk was doing with earthquake stuff, doing big ground type damage, and just being a big powerhouse. And it just fits this new format much better than something like Great Tusk. Now, a lot of Great Tusk, especially toward the end of the series, you were occasionally seeing a Choice Scarf, you were seeing a Life Orb, but a lot of Focus Sash was the big priority here because Great Tusk, you know, doesn't take hits all that well. It's pretty poor defensively, especially in the special defensive category. So it just doesn't like, especially right now with like Chi-Yu Fluttermane or even like Chi-Yu Bundle, it just doesn't like the new format all that much. And with its speed tier being as low as it is, it just doesn't handle these new Pokemon well at all. So I think Garchomp just comes in and fills the role all that much better, and just kind of carved a place for Garchomp to come back in force. So the Garchomp that I have here is the Garchomp that I've been running on the team that I featured the other day, where I broke it down on Showdown, as well as in the most recent VGC Climb video. I really enjoy Garchomp right now. It just is a really fun Pokemon. I have it with a Life Orb, Rough Skin, Earthquake, Stompy Tantrum, Dragon Claw, and Protect. Really solid. I have it as a more bulky Garchomp, with 180 HP, 156 attack, 36 defense, 4 special defense, and 132 speed with a jolly nature. And I pair this next to like a Talonflame or something to give it a speed boost with a Fire Terra type. The reason you have a Fire Terra type is because what you can do is actually go in with Talonflame. You're able to Terra Fire to avoid any excessive damage from a Fluttermane and a Chi-Yu, and then you take both hits and hit them with Earthquake because you're faster, right? It is really, really powerful. It works really well into that particular matchup, and it works well into a lot of other matchups. Specifically, if you look at like Chien-Pao, you don't want to take a 4x Ice Spinner, so you Terra Fire and you're able to do big damage in return. It works incredibly well into that matchup as well. So I really, really like this particular set on this Garchomp. It just plays very, very well. However, this is not the only way, obviously, to play Garchomp. Let me get this Great Tusk out of here. But like, you could do another Garchomp and do something like, you could run Choice Scarf, because you know you have a really high speed stat already. You could use Choice Scarf on this Pokemon. You could use a Clear Amulet to avoid Intimidates, because you know there are a bunch of Gyarados and a bunch of Arcanine running around. So definitely something you could do there. So there's just a handful of different options that you could do. You could even swap in some different moves, like Rock Slide's very prevalent on Garchomp. There's just a bunch of things that Garchomp can do because its move pool is so deep. It's just a really solid Pokemon all around, and one that I've been enjoying just a ton. I played it on the ladder, and I've just been having such a great time with that Garchomp team. It's been so solid. It's been so consistent. I really, really like it in this format, and I think it just fits with so many other Pokemon right now. Like, considering the fact, let's just start there with teammates. This Pokemon has so many good teammates, right? For what, Amoonguss. I mean, obviously, just Amoonguss in general makes a lot of sense, because you can just kind of, if you need to, you do Earthquake, and you're like, maybe you're running a Choice Scarf variant and you're locked into it, you could rotate in Amoonguss, and Amoonguss isn't going to take a big amount of damage from that Earthquake. So that's really, really solid for this particular Pokemon. But a lot of other stuff that you're seeing right now, I mentioned Gyarados already, and I have a separate video talking about why Gyarados is popping up. Gyarados plays really nice next to an Earthquaking Garchomp, similarly to how a Talonflame would, because you're a flying type. You're not going to be taking any additional damage from an Earthquake on your own Gyarados, which is incredibly nice. You're able to go in, get Intimidates off. It's just super, super good for Garchomp. And you can also protect your Garchomp that particular turn, and, you know, start getting speed control if there's like a Fluttermane or something else that's annoying on the field. Maybe your Tailwind's up. Having the ability to go in with Gyarados and just kind of mitigate certain Pokemon, maybe like taunt and Amoonguss, do things like that, is incredibly nice to allow your Garchomp to eat. Also, Talonflame, obviously, you know, just setting Tailwind turn 1 with Gale Wings and then being able to Will-O-Wisp stuff, do Brave Bird stuff, just pairs very well next to a Garchomp that wants to spam an Earthquake. So just fits very, very well next to this particular Pokemon. Bundle is another one that'll fit nicely next to a Garchomp, not necessarily if you're spamming Earthquakes, but if you consider the fact that you could just Icy Wind stuff and then lower speed tiers so that way you can allow your Garchomp to kind of go in and do work, it makes a lot of sense putting these two Pokemon next to one another and allowing each Pokemon to benefit. Now, Pokemon that really don't like Garchomp right now. For example, I mentioned already, the Chi-Yu Fluttermane combo is really not a fan of this particular lead with the Talonflame, right? Because Chi-Yu is weak. Fluttermane doesn't like taking an Earthquake because of its poor defensive stats. So if you throw this out with a Talonflame, you outspeed both of these Pokemon, and then you're able to go in and start Earthquaking these two. They have to commit a Terra if they don't want their Chi-Yu to get rocked. It's just very, very nice, and then you can Terra Fire to avoid any extra damage from a Fairy type attack, from Chi-Yu's Heat Wave, things of that nature. You're able to just do so much damage with this particular Pokemon into this lead. It plays incredibly nice. And that's why Ting-Lu also fits really well next to Garchomp, because again, you could just lower the special attack of the opposing Pokemon and allow Garchomp to take even more hits. So Ting-Lu pairs very, very nicely with this as well. Ceruledge is one that, again, doesn't really like Garchomp because its favorite Terra type right now is either Steel or Grass. And while, yes, your Stomping Tantrums aren't going to do a ton into a Grass type, if it does Terra Steel, you're in a really good position. And if it does Terra Grass, you just Dragon Claw at the next turn, right? So very, very solid option into a Ceruledge. It forces the Terra onto that Pokemon. It gives you a really solid advantage into that particular matchup. Same with Annihilate, honestly. I found that Annihilate, if you're running like if you're going up against a Mouse Ape combo, normally you're seeing like Terra Fire, Terra Steel on Annihilate. You're able to do so much work with a Garchomp by simply going out there with a Fluttermane, you know, Dazzling Gleaming or Moon Blasting the Mousehold, forcing that Mousehold to commit either a Follow Me or a Protect, and you're able to do so much damage. If they Terra Fire, you're able to simply just Stomping Tantrum the Annihilate and do incredible amounts of work to this Pokemon. So honestly, Annihilate has not been a huge fan of this particular Garchomp that I've been running. Same deal goes for Glamora or like Goldango that you're seeing pop up. Like obviously, Goldango has really dropped off in usage. It's not as popular, but you are still seeing it occasionally pop up with like Water Terra typing, things like that. So Goldango really also doesn't like playing into the Garchomp much at all. Glamora really doesn't. Obviously, it has to force a Terra Grass onto itself or Terra Flying to avoid taking the super effective damage of an Earthquake or a Stomping Tantrum, which just removes the Terra from play, which makes the rest of the game so much easier. I really do like Garchomp into this particular matchup. But we also have to talk about Pokemon that Garchomp has to be afraid of, because there are a couple Pokemon that I think are very, very annoying. For one, Fluttermane, obviously you have to be concerned about. Fluttermane is just one that is a pain to deal with all around. It's going to do big damage. If it's choice specs, you can trick them with the Terra Fire and lock them into like a Moonblast or a Dazzling Gleam, and they're not going to do a whole lot of damage to you. But if they do lock into Shadow Ball, it puts you in a much stickier situation. And Fluttermane is just an annoying Pokemon. It's going to be annoying. Bundle can potentially cause problems because of the fact that you are 4 times weak to Ice, but also your Terra is weak to Hydro Pump. Bundle plays pretty well into Garchomp, this particular Garchomp, and is something you need to be aware of. Chien-Pao can cause problems. Like I said, you do have the Terra Fire to avoid the 4 times effective Ice-type damage. However, it just, if you do use your Terra earlier in the game, this could be a massive issue for you, and Chien-Pao can make other Pokemon just do so much more to you, like a Dragonite with E-Speed, things of that nature, are going to be super annoying for Garchomp with a Chien-Pao in the field. So Chien-Pao can cause problems for this particular Garchomp. Dragapult, again, is one that's popping up because of Justin Tang winning Fort Wayne with it. Dragapult can be very annoying for this particular Garchomp as well, so something you also need to be aware of is just, you know, taking Dragon Darts from this thing is not going to be any fun. So definitely need to be aware of that particular matchup. Gyarados is one that's a bit annoying for Garchomp. Getting intimidated sucks, but then also not really being able to do anything but Dragon Claw the opposing Gyarados is kind of annoying. So that's a Pokemon that you do have to watch out for, as Gyarados actually plays pretty well into Garchomp right now. If it is running a Rock Slide Garchomp, Gyarados does have more issues, but with the particular set that you saw I'm running, my Garchomp does not fare incredibly well into Gyarados right now. So definitely something to be aware of if you're running my set or a set similar. is Gyarados can cause some serious problems. Arcanine less so, because Arcanine, you know, takes super effective damage from your Stomping Tantrums or Earthquakes, so you don't really have to worry about that as much. But Gyarados definitely can handle this Pokemon a whole lot better and lock it in with like Whirlpool, or, you know, just do a bunch of damage to this Pokemon. So definitely a solid counter. Opposing Amoonguss can be problematic. Because, you know, you're just not really doing a whole lot to an Amoonguss with this Garchomp. Like, Amoonguss can kind of just sit in front of it and Rage Powder, Spore, do whatever it needs to do, and just ignore your Garchomp altogether. So, Amoonguss is one you definitely have to be careful about. That's why Talonflame is so nice next to it. You can double it, do a Dragon Claw and a Brave Bird, and hopefully knock out the Amoonguss. Definitely something to watch out for. Amoonguss can be a super annoying Pokemon to deal with. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. I think Garchomp is incredibly solid and something you should definitely consider putting onto a team this series. If you enjoyed at any point, leave a like, subscribe for daily competitive Pokemon content from me in the future. Also, be sure to check out the Discord. People are over there hanging out, playing Pokemon all the time. If you want to see anything else from me, check out these Garchomp related videos where I use Garchomp on the VGC ladder, where I show off this team that I built using Garchomp that's loosely based on Joe UX9's team that he got second place with in Fort Wayne. And then also check out this video where I talk about my experience at Fort Wayne Regionals and the team that I brought with me. But until next time, peace.